Hello and welcome to A Conversation With. I am your host, Melanie Mack, and I am so excited to be here with you today. It's just a beautiful day in sunny California, and today we are going to have a conversation with the most beautiful twins, Lauren and Megan McElroy. Am I saying that correctly, ladies? McElroy. They are the owners of Tickleberry Place, and we're going to be learning about ownership and why they decided to open this incredible place right in our local community. I want to give you a little bit about their background. Lauren and Megan are the co-founders and CEO of Tickleberry Place. And if you don't know where that's located, go to www.tickleberryplace.com. Is that correct, ladies?
Yes.
Tickleberry.com?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Having been raised in Leimert Park, the beautiful Leimert Park, we all know that that's a beautiful artistic community, Leimert Park, California. They've studied and completed their studies at the University of Michigan, and now they've come together. It's like Wonder Twin powers activate. They've come together to enhance their community, and how beautiful is that when those of us in our community come back to not only enrich it, but to bring something back that the entire community can enjoy. Combining their respective professional backgrounds as process improvement engineer and user experience designer, Megan and Lauren are social entrepreneurs. They've paved the way for children in their community to flourish, and they've sensed the growing demand. And so they created Tickleberry Place. So welcome, Lauren and Megan. Thank you for being in studio with me today.
Thank you for having us.
So tell us a little bit about Tickleberry Place. Why did you guys come together as sisters, and why the need in our community?
Well, I guess, Lauren, you can start answering that question.
So originally, Tickleberry Place came from an idea that I had after babysitting. I was trying to watch, or at least I was watching and trying to find a place for a 2-year-old on the weekend, and I quickly learned that there was nothing in our immediate neighborhood, and I would have to drive outside to like the west side of LA and to Torrance and different places. And even when I got to those places, I was like, oh, this isn't really a great place. And so my brain was like, I want to improve this. And so there came with, I want to create this place of my own. And then Megan came on as a partner later.
Excellent.
Yep.
And Megan, what made you decide to join your sister in this effort?
So I was always helping her when we did farmers market events, and it was like epiphany. One day I was driving in my car. I remember listening to a podcast, like a startup podcast, and they were saying, oh, well, startups, they're more attractive when there's two business partners. And I was like, why am I not Lauren's business partner? It's just like, doesn't make any sense. Like, and I just called her and I was like, I'm going to be your partner. She's like, okay.
Yeah.
You're going to say to your sister, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. So tell me, you mentioned farmers market. What were you guys doing at farmers market?
Yep.
We were at the Crenshaw Farmers Market in the Baldwin Hills Mall,
Yes.
and we would have pop-up play events every month, and we would do gardening activities and arts and crafts. We would make homemade Play-Doh and different little fun things where we're teaching.
Play-Doh.
Yeah.
We pumpkin decorating during the, what is it?
For Halloween.
Halloween.
We
Yes.
would do
Yeah,
some
we
of
did
those.
that.
Festival.
Yes.
Yeah.
That usually was our biggest one. We've done that
Yeah.
2 years in a row last year, and then was it last year? Well, at least, a couple of years we've done it, and we've had a lot of people come, and some people drive from other areas just to attend our events because they've been following us for a while. Yeah.
Yes, I posted something about you guys, and people were commenting saying, "Oh, I love them. I love their story," and so I really want to take this time and let our listeners get to know more about you. I understand that you're raising $30,000 for your launch. Is that correct?
Yes.
On Kickstarter.
On Kickstarter. So tell us a little bit about Kickstarter, why you chose Kickstarter, and how much have you raised to date?
So Kickstarter is a platform to raise money, capital, and it's kind of like a reward system, so people contribute. And the way it works is all or nothing. And we decided to go with Kickstarter, one, because it's kind of like in the startup world, there's a lot of people on it as it's like the popular site, as opposed to Indiegogo, which is another one, or GoFundMe. So it's more for a creative creative space type of thing. So
Sure.
more people who are creating things and products and whatever video projects, they go on Kickstarter. So that's why we chose that one. And the All or Nothing design is a little risky. And the reason for that is because they say it works. It really gets the community rallied around being a part of bringing your project to life.
Increase the urgency,
Yes,
I'm sure.
Exactly. Yeah. So our goal on Kickstarter is 30,000. Our deadline is on Friday at basically
7 a.m.
7 a.m.
Yeah.
And
This Friday,
this
right?
Friday, yeah.
You guys heard that. This Friday is their deadline. How much have you raised to date?
We've raised almost $8,000.
Oh, that's outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Outstanding. What kind of donors are you finding?
We're finding people coming from like all over the place, mostly in LA, but family and friends and a lot of different strangers. Whenever someone contributes, it gives me a rundown of the day, and I see like guests and some people from all types of places, and it gives me analytics too. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. So for all of you listening out there, these are sisters that have made a commitment to our community. And, as a parent of 3 boys that are 19, 15, and 14, I wish, I've said this to Lauren and Megan before, I wish that something like Tickleberry existed when they were at that stage of really needing places within the community, because I understand the drive of having to go out of the neighborhood to find places that are just fun for your kids, and so that they have a good experience. And I want you to tell us more about, because you talk about clean eating and healthy, happy play. Talk to me a little bit about that and what that means.
So clean eating, a lot of people think it's being vegetarian or vegan, and that's always an assumption about Lauren and I, but we eat meat. But clean eating is mostly just eating clean food, as in no pesticides. If you're going to eat meat, pasture-raised meats, and not minimally processed foods. So that's one aspect that we wanted to bring into Tickleberry, because that's very much a part of our lives. We actually food prep together. We cook.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, together, and we make our meals. We do salads, and we do all kind of stuff, and a lot of times we make things from scratch. These days it's a little more challenging because we're so busy, but that was
You're launching a business.
Yeah, exactly. So we're like, man, this is getting so tough.
Yeah, and we also, the struggle that we have, and not just play places, but places to eat and places just to go grab something really clean, something healthier.
Sure.
It's such a hard thing to do, and so we wanted to bring that into the space. I mean, you're providing a place where families are hanging out. Why not provide something that's healthier or organic and clean?
Yeah.
That's wonderful. How are you marketing? How are you currently marketing Tickleberry Place? Because apparently I'm late to the party. So how are people finding out about it, and how are you spreading the word?
Yeah, with having our following, doing the pop-up plays, we've been getting people on our mailing list, and people
Wonderful.
have been following us on Instagram and Facebook, and so we're active on those platforms. And we've also been using Nextdoor. Nextdoor is that neighborhood.
Yes.
We've been posting and sharing, and a lot of neighbors have been commenting and sharing it, and also some people have randomly been posting about us not having seen our posts, and we're like, wow, this is really great, and people are really supportive, and that's mostly how we've been getting around, in addition to partnering with other groups.
Yeah, it looks like word of mouth is really happening. So when we're talking to people, they're like, oh yeah, I've heard about you guys. You're those twins that are doing Tickleberry Place. And one thing that really helped is when our sign went up on our building.
Oh, share the story about the sign. I love that story, and our listeners have to hear it.
Okay. So I guess the story is that place, we didn't sign the lease. We actually had to walk away because we thought there was a scare with some environmental problems with the building. But it turns out, after months and months of looking, we went back, and it was available. But a year ago, when we were negotiating, we were driving down Slauson, and we're looking out, and I'm like, oh my God, look, Tickleberry Place is on that building. It was so random. We didn't know it was going up.
And you know that wasn't random, right? You guys know.
It wasn't random.
Yeah, the landlords had worked with the county to get a free sign put on the building.
Yeah.
And that happened right during negotiations, and it was almost a done deal until Lauren backed out of it. I wasn't on board with her at that time, but I guess several months later, the county still put the sign up there, and it just by chance, we were doing something that day where it had us just actually drive past it. We normally wouldn't have passed it.
Yeah.
And we jumped out of the car like, oh my God, taking selfies and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And then literally they covered it. Yeah, the next day. So people saw it go up and they started Googling us. And ever since then, when they took it down again, when we finally signed the lease, there's been so much excitement around it.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Why South LA specifically? And I know that you guys have kind of touched on this a bit, but why did you choose to really be a part of the community? Because you could have taken this anywhere. Why South LA?
So South LA specifically gets like no love from a lot of the big corporations. I know.
Shout out to South LA.
Yes. Yeah. When you go on Google and you search like organic restaurant, like organic stores, just organic play space, you see this huge hole in the middle of the map and there aren't any places there. And it's just so sad and it's almost like we're ignored, and there's people who they go out to places and they have buying power, and so I thought, let's stop being ignored and just create it one here. And I'm so glad that we did, because we're getting so much love and support by it.
Absolutely. So when is the launch? When do I get to come to the party? When is the opening?
We're aiming for we're saying fall of this year, and we're not quite sure as the date yet because we're in the middle of construction and building out, and construction never goes as planned, but we're hoping by the end of September. So that's our goal.
It will be September.
Yeah.
Listeners, we're going to support them. It will be September. The fall, we'll have the launch and the opening, the grand opening of Tickleberry Place. Megan, tell me about what parents and your patrons can expect from Tickleberry Place experience.
So when they walk in, they'll be greeted by someone to... there'll be someone there to have them come into the space, and there'll be a beautiful lounge area where they can just relax and enjoy themselves, and then their kids can go roam around, and we'll have different kind of areas like science, art, and even like a reading room, and we plan to have storytelling. We know some really awesome storytellers who are already lined up to come into our space. And in addition to that, of course, we wanted to have the food aspect. We are going to have a nice cafe where parents can just have a nice cup of coffee.
That's
and
wonderful.
have some pastries, and then Wi-Fi. Because a lot of spaces only think about kids. They don't think about the fact that parents are going to be in the space and want to enjoy themselves and connect with each other. And, mommy and me classes and play dates are a huge thing. So we want to welcome them into our space and have a space for the parents to be comfortable. And it just really be a beautiful, serene destination for parents and kids.
I love that. Mm-hmm. So what about, will parents need to make reservations in order to bring their children, or do you take walk-ins? How will that work, the logistics of it?
So we'll take walk-ins. We'll have open play hours when parents can drop in and play at admission fee, and they can take advantage of the space and just kind of hang out and play. And we'll also have monthly memberships where they can pay a monthly fee and have unlimited access to come and play. In addition to that, we'll have birthday parties and things like that. And so those events and the classes that we'll have, like Megan mentioned, Mommy and Me, will have different prices for those type of activities.
Excellent. Now I'm looking at the logo that Lauren has around her waist and we're being filmed here. So who designed the logo? How did you come up with the design for Tickleberry Place?
So it's so funny. The story, everyone asks me like, where'd the name come from? And so I wanted to find a name that represented something natural, organic, like plant, or an essence of a plant. And so I was Googling plant names and found tickleweed and Juneberry, and I was like, I'll merge the two. And so that's where Tickleberry came about. And then a coworker of mine, because I'm a designer, I have a couple of friends that design. I was like, I really want to get my logo designed, and I asked him if he could do it, and he was like, sure. And then I threw off my ideas, and then a few days later, he showed me the design. I was like, okay, there it is, and it was super cute. And
it is super cute.
Yeah. It makes you laugh when you see it.
Yeah.
Yes. it's cute. I mean, even the name, my firstborn, he's going to be so embarrassed, but I've got to call him out. But he loved Tickle Time when he was little. And that's what it reminds me of. It conjures up that thought of him being little. And so I would say Tickle Time, and then that evolved into Tea Time. And so he loved that. And so I would say, you know what time it is? It's tea time. And he loved that. And I would just tickle him to death until, he couldn't breathe. But he loved that. And then he got into the cool teenage years, and he was like, okay, enough with the tea time, Mom. But so I love the name. I think that it's such a magnet, and, even without knowing what it is, to me, it sounds like, it sounds like open play. It sounds like children being in a safe space. And I love that you've incorporated something for the parents as well. Now, will you outsource for the pastries and the different things that you'll bring in to Tickleberry Place?
Yes, we plan to outsource mainly because we're just getting our feet wet in that industry, and I'm all about operations and efficiency, and I know that it'd be best if we outsource to local artisans and organic companies and vendors to make our pastries and products and sell them in our space and just kind of get the hang of it. And then at some point, we would love to actually open a restaurant portion.
Really?
Yeah.
So that will be on site as well.
Yeah. We're hoping to get to get there.
No,
it's going to happen. Phase 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is outstanding.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at, and I know everyone can't see the designs that I'm looking at, but walk us through the design of Tickleberry Place.
Yeah, so we have this really cool interior designer that we've hired, and she has a wonderful vision. And we wanted to find someone who didn't just make the space beautiful. And so we want the space to be user-friendly. Like, there's sometimes when people create a space and you realize, like, oh, this is kind of awkward. So immediately when parents walk in, they feel like they're greeted immediately by somebody with this beautiful ensemble of our logo and then a front desk, and they have a lounge area where they can just automatically feel like, oh, okay, I'm good. I can set the child down and play and pay. And then once they walk into the rest of the area, it's going to be like eco-friendly, modern, chic-looking place. And we've been told that our space is going to be made from shipping containers and wood pallets, and so we're going to try to repurpose and reuse things in this space.
You guys are doing it. I love that. So was it difficult finding a building? Because, I talked to many entrepreneurs and businesswomen, businessmen, and sometimes it's really difficult finding a space. I know with my first company, I found a place in Culver City, but it was such a challenge. We were looking all over the city, and we just happened to find a space that hadn't been built out. And it was kind of like a warehouse, but it had different rooms, and it was wonderful. And so we grabbed it. We walked in and, gave the person a deposit because we just wanted to make sure that we thought we'll look at other places. But when we walked in, when you feel just the energy of a space, it just felt like it was ours. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't want to walk out of that space without leaving some money, just to let them know we're serious. Yes. We want the space, and we ended up getting it, and it was a really beautiful space. And that space has been, I don't know, like 10 different things since my selling of the business. But so what has it been difficult for you to find something? And did you look all over LA, or did you just know it's going to be South LA? It's going to be in the community.
Yeah, we looked all over South LA. I think last year in the summertime, we were literally driving around Inglewood and down Adams and Jefferson trying to find something that was big enough to house what we were doing. Part of the problem is that there's not a lot of space, and there's not a lot of spaces that have over 2,000 square feet of space. And so that was a very immediate need because we wanted to have enough play spaces, play area, and also have a space for the birthday party room and different things happening in the space. And so we needed something big. In addition to that, parking is so hard to find.
Oh, yes, indeed.
We didn't want our parents to have to struggle with finding parking. So we really wanted to find a place that had a lot or something that had easy access from the parking to our space. And we got really lucky with this place. And it has over 200 spaces of parking in the back of the building, so there's not any worry about where I'm going to park and if there's anything there, and it's also free parking too.
Oh, that is wonderful. Again, I can't tell you how many times. There was one particular time I took one of my sons to a birthday party, and the parking was horrendous.
Oh my
And we
goodness.
circled around, and he so wanted to go to this birthday party, but there was just no place to park.
Yeah.
And it was a party where it was a drop where parents were dropping their kids off, but I couldn't even get to a space to drop him off. So after about 45 minutes of circling around,
Wow.
I said, you know what, this party just isn't going to happen. So I just believe that you guys have thought through all of the things that make it work at every level to just make it very plug and play, very easy for families to just participate. What are the hours of Tickleberry, and what age group are you targeting with the children?
So our hours are going to be early morning, around 8 o'clock in the morning. We're thinking about opening up for the little ones to be in the space, and then we're looking at open play ending around 6 p.m. However, we're considering having adult experiences for parents, different kind of workshops and classes where they can still bring their kids to play, but if they want to come and experience something in the evening, we'll probably be open to about 8 o'clock for those type of experiences. So
that's another revenue stream.
exactly, yeah. And the ages will be from about infancy, not a whole lot of hands-on experiences for infants, but mostly toddlers. But we'll welcome mothers with the infants. We'll have things for them, and up to kids about 10 years old. Excuse me, kids. Oh, I can't speak now. Kids for up to 10 years old,
Right.
and then of course parents. So.
Wonderful. And what about will there be any space for children with disabilities?
Yeah, our grandmother, she's in that business, in that space, and she's been adamant about that, and we also believe that's really important too. So we want to have different things for kids with disabilities as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So talk to me a little bit about just, what you guys do. What do you do in your free time? Because I know that this has to be all consuming. So what do you do in your free time to kind of just decompress? Do you ever get an opportunity to unplug from Tickleberry Place, or is it Tickleberry Place 24/7?
It feels like it's 24/7.
Lauren's just gonna keep it real. It's 24/7.
I really try to cut my time off by 9
Yeah, she does.
9 p.m. and I try to decompress. I'll try to meditate. I will turn my phone. I don't want to accept phone calls unless it's really urgent that I have to respond to an email or something. But that's my time to just kind of relax, to pray and meditate, because without that, I don't think we'd be able to keep ourselves sane. Yeah. And also we during free time we're always meal prepping, and so
Still?
No, we actually don't spend that much time
Megan said no.
Well, so this is what we do.
Okay, yeah.
We plan. So during our free time, we go to the farmers markets, we get our stuff, minimal stuff, and then we prep our stuff, but we don't cook anymore. Literally we have salads every day because we don't have time to cook.
Yeah.
And that's on our Saturdays, literally we're running our errands.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But part of it is because we both still work full time.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, audience. Okay, I don't want to hear any excuses from entrepreneurs out there saying that they cannot make a way to make their dreams happen.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this.
Yes.
How are you working full time?
Oh my gosh. So I'm industrial engineer by trade. I work for a large.
That was a mic drop, people. That was a mic drop.
I know. I don't think I can say their name, but a large coffee retailer. I was formerly on the industrial side, and I just transferred over into the retail side. And I was commuting all the way from the Inland Empire every day. And so that was really tough on us. So I decided to actually take a pay cut and actually work in the retail side, and I'm learning so much, and it's been so much fun.
Yeah.
And it will be so useful with the business, but it's actually been really easy now. It adds a little more flexibility. I'm not commuting for like 3 hours a day, and I tutor on the side too. So I have little kids that I would go tutor in addition to like helping with the business. So it's been so much easier now, especially since summertime. It's not as busy, so it's been tough.
It has been tough.
Yeah.
And
But clearly you're doing it. Okay,
Yeah.
Lauren, are you working
I work
full-time?
full time as well. Yes, I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lauren and Megan, super women. I mean, this is just wonderful. Okay, so tell me what you do full time.
So I am a user experience designer, and I design websites to make sure that they're user friendly. So that's kind of where my brain's of like, how do I make this better? And that's how Tickleberry came about. So I'm currently doing the digital design for an e-commerce website that sells shoes. So that's what I do now.
Outstanding. And so how did the two of you merge your expertise with really the vision of Tickleberry Place? Like, how did you make that mental leap and say, this is how I transfer this skill over into creating something that we own?
So one thing that Megan always says is like, we both are in the business of improving experiences for people. And she does it in like the business manufacturing side, and I do it in the digital space. And so we've always had that thinking in our mind of how do we make this better?
Yeah.
And so we're always applying that to Tickleberry. It's from every single detail, like how do we make our social media better? How do we market this better? Does this make sense? And even down to the space, like, you know, even down to the bathrooms, like we have designed the bathroom to the point where the mom doesn't have to go inside the bathroom to change a diaper, because you have a toddler, you're trying to lug a stroller and a diaper bag.
I know about it. Yes,
I've experienced that, and it's so difficult to like maneuver in a space. And it's like, I really want a space that understands how I move and how I work and operate. And so we're always constantly thinking about that, and we've designed the whole space to have that in there.
That's excellent. You know, that, again, I mean, just the things that you guys are sharing, I think about with my firstborn, and I always go back to him because that was a learning curve for me.
Right.
You know, I just remember one of my girlfriends said to me when she had her first child, she said she looked at him one day and, you know, she's with her husband, and she said, "Oh, you have to eat every day." It was just one of those moments where it's just like, you know, you have to continue doing what you're doing, and you have to kind of rearrange your life and design something that works for you.
Yes.
And that was the first time for me with my firstborn. I loved the Beverly Center. And I was constantly in there when I had time. And I realized once I had a stroller and diaper bag and all of these different things that they don't take strollers on the escalator.
Yeah.
And so I thought, how do you get around? And so it made it so difficult because you'd have to walk to an opposite end of the store and get on an elevator just to get to a different floor. And so I just stopped going, and because and now I think they have signs where it says no strollers allowed or something like that, but it makes it very difficult for parents that are at that stage with their children, just, you know, when you're lugging everything around and you can't get on the elevator easily. And so I love that you guys are thinking about just a user-friendly experience. What are some other things that I wanted to talk to you about? So I have to share, ladies, that, and the men that are listening too, we love you too.
Yeah,
we do. I wanted to share that, as many of you know, I have a monthly brunch club called BrunchNet. And I was so excited to receive an email from Lauren. She reached out to me, and when I tell you ticket sales were already shut down, and I received this email from her, and she said, "I hope it's not too late. We're interested in attending, my sister and I'm paraphrasing," and reached out to me immediately. And they came, and they were just such a presence to this group of amazing women. And I mean, they just jumped right in. And I'm so thankful that you guys are a part of that community of women, entrepreneurial women. And I love what you bring to the space. And we are going to do everything that we can to support you. And I want the listeners out there to support this incredible thing that they've created, this business Tickleberry, I can't say it enough, Tickleberry place that they've created for our community. You don't have to drive to Manhattan Beach. Nothing wrong with those places. I love Manhattan Beach. I love Redondo. But sometimes I can't tell you how many times I've been to Mulligan's.
Yeah.
I mean, I should own stock
used to go
in
there
Mulligan's and Chuck E. Cheese and,
Yes,
all of those
yeah.
places that all parents are very familiar with. And so it's wonderful that, if you live in the community, which I do, I live in South LA, and it's great to have a place to come and know that your children will be cared for. They're in a clean environment. There are, if a parent wants to stay and enjoy, like you said, some pastries and a healthy meal, that's an option, and you can just unwind or get some work done and let your children have some time to unwind from their days as well. So I love that you guys are doing that. So hobbies, you talked about meditation and prayer. What are you doing, Megan, to just kind of relax and if you can disconnect at times from the building of Tickleberry Place?
Well, just like Lauren, we're spiritual. We go to church actually every Saturday night. You can find us going to church. In addition to that, we just kind of relax and hang out with each other, our family. We love to go eat with our mom. Our mom is a huge foodie, so we'll go. She goes, "Girls, let's go out tonight." And we're like, "Okay." Like, let's go to this place. And she's like hip to everything. She works downtown, so she knows about all the places there. So we normally do that. And I have a boyfriend, so I spend time with him whenever I can. And that's pretty much it.
Is he supportive of what you're doing with your sister? And
he is. He's actually in our Kickstarter video.
Yeah.
You can see
Okay, I want everyone to go to Kickstarter. Look for Megan's boyfriend.
Yeah.
He's in the video. He's in the video. He's helping to sell it, so I love it.
Yes, he is. He's so supportive. I love it.
So we need donors from all over the community. Really, it's about $22,000, I would say, give or take, that's needed. And that's not a lot of money, but when you don't have it, $20 is a lot of money when it's not there. So I want to encourage everyone to go to their Kickstarter campaign. Is it Kickstarter.com?
Yes.
Kickstarter.com. Google Tickleberry Place. You should be able to find it very easily. Lauren, show the logo.
Yes.
She has it. You can see it on video.
Yes, it's super cute. So these are gifts that we're giving to people on Kickstarter.
So, okay, what's the giving level to get the logo, get the gift?
This one is $50. I think it's 50. Yeah,
He's included in a couple packages.
He's
included. It's I didn't know if it was a girl or guy.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, we've called him he. I don't know why. It just seems natural for whatever reason. I don't know why. But we've named him Terry because it's kind of a unisex name.
Okay.
So if we want to change it to she, we can.
Okay. So, got it. Okay, so with a minimum of $50, you get Terry, and that's a steal. You get Terry, and can I feel it?
Yeah,
it's
it's
so
actually
fun.
he's an eco-friendly
Yeah.
plush toy made by a local plush toy maker, and actually they're in Manhattan Beach. Yeah,
Wonderful.
They're called Indie Plush.
I don't know if everyone can see this on camera. I'm holding it, but yeah, this is Terry, and you get this if you contribute at least $50 to their campaign. And again, Kickstarter is set up. It's designed where it's all or nothing, and they're just under $8,000. And if we have 100 people just contributing as much as they can, they can hit that target. And we want them to raise that $30,000. And we want to see the launch. We will see the launch open, right? In the fall, in September.
Yes.
September.
What are some other things that people can do to support you and find you?
They can follow us on our social media sites. We're on everything: Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. At Tickleberry Fun is the name. What else? If you can sign up for our email list on our website, and just if there's anything you have in mind to contribute to us, we're definitely open to having you guys assist us in any kind of way. So yeah, we're looking for people who actually experiences in our space. So if you do storytelling or music with kids or any kind of activities or even any kind of local, I guess, food vendors,
Yes.
we're open to having you in our space. So
Wonderful.
any kind of thing, we're open.
Wonderful.
hearing.
Now, I read that you guys have met with many of our city council members, and so how are those relationships building for you, and how is that impacting just the launch of your company?
Actually, yeah, they're really benefiting us. The county supervisor is a really good friend of the family, and he's actually his picture's on our building. That's why we kind of knew it was like meant to be. We were like, okay, it's like you know,
too many signs.
Yes.
And LA County has been helpful with beautifying the facade of the building, which is why it looks like there's something happening there. And so that's part of the help that we've gotten even from the politicians is that they've contributed to the facade update.
Yeah, and
Wonderful.
that parking lot in the back is actually, they're going to redo it. And I believe the plan is, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but I think they want to host farmers markets and different things in that parking lot. So it'll be a really great community space right there where our building is. And how else would anything else?
So many different ways, but that's
Name them. Should people mail monies to you?
Yeah.
Can they make a donation through your website if they don't go onto Kickstarter?
Yeah, well, actually, they can email us, and some people have been writing us checks and sending us cash outside of the Kickstarter. So
Yeah.
that has
Excellent.
been really, really, really helpful, and we're so grateful for that.
Yeah, I think we plan to create some type of kind of e-commerce thing on the
Yeah.
site to make that available to people after the Kickstarter.
Okay.
So if they sign up for our email list, they can get like a little message when that's up.
Wonderful. Now, give us your social media handles again. I know you said that you're on Instagram, Facebook, obviously.
yeah.
Instagram is Tickleberry Fun,
Yes.
and it's FUN, not fund like funding, but FUN
Yes,
as in fun.
FUN, as in
Okay.
fun, yeah.
Tickleberry Fun on Instagram, and then with Facebook.
Yes.
The same.
The same? Okay.
Yeah, so, and you can just search
Tickleberry
Place or
Yeah.
Tickleberry Fun, and we'll pop up
Okay.
in Facebook. And we're also on Twitter as Tickleberry Fun.
Excellent. Wonderful. There was something else that I had. Now, construction began June, right? So where is I know that we've talked, and I know that it's across the street from Simply Wholesome, one of my favorite places, and my son works there. Shout out to Cameron and April and everybody. So it's right across the street. Where can people find you guys?
We're right on the corner of Slauson and Overhill. So the address is
4437
West
Slauson.
Slauson Avenue. Gotta make sure you get that right.
Yes, and we're on the north side of
Yeah.
Slauson. So right on where our building is facing the street. So you could see us right driving down. And we're in like a complex sort of.
Okay.
It has a number
Yeah.
of other different businesses. And we have like the biggest space that has like a big storefront in the front.
Again, another mic drop. They're in the biggest place. they're in the biggest space, everybody, in the biggest space. That's such a blessing. I'm so happy for you guys.
It is a blessing.
Tell us about some of the current milestones.
Yes. So finding the space was like a challenge,
Yes.
but we found it,
Yes.
thankfully.
Thank God.
And then, and then we signed our lease,
Yes.
which, when it comes with, you find the space, and then you have to create the negotiations, and then we finally signed the lease. And we're working with our architect, and she's been drafting the plans and then submitting it to LA County. And right now, the landlords are drilling into the concrete and adding plumbing for our bathrooms because our
And
facility
sewage.
currently doesn't have any restrooms. And so
Okay.
that's what's happening right now.
So talk to me about the negotiations. Oftentimes people are going to see the aftermath of Tickleberry Place, and they're just going to walk in and see this beautiful lounge, and they're going to enjoy the cafe. But talk to us about the nitty-gritty of what does it take. What was the negotiation process like? Describe that. Walk us through it.
It was a little I want to say stressful, but it was stressful. There's a lot of back and forth because they're concerned about not making I guess they don't want to lose money, and we don't want to spend too much because we're just starting out and we're a startup, and we want to make sure that both parties are taken care of. And one of the things that was a big concern of ours was adding the restrooms. We didn't want to pay for it all because we couldn't take it all with us. If we were to move, we couldn't take the restrooms with us. So we really wanted to negotiate some terms where they helped assist with paying for it, or at least did some of the work for the restrooms, because we're adding value to their building, and it's something that we can't take with us.
Yeah, and another thing, I want to get a little real on this is,
get real.
Lauren and I we're women, we're young, and we're Black. So a huge thing is making sure that we're not being taken advantage of by people who are in that industry and kind of know what they're doing. We're new to this. So it was really hard. It was like a lot of teetering, like, should we do this? Should we not? Like, how do we know, what kind of hand we're playing? We had to like be strong and be firm in what we wanted. And there were times where we were like, for example, Lauren walked away from this building originally. So there were times where we had to do that with this space and the other spaces that we looked at. So that was really hard for us.
It really helped to have friends and family who knew like the real estate industry. We utilized a free resource that we were able to take our lease to, and they had a lawyer that could look over our lease for us, and that was really helpful to have professional eyes on it and making sure we were thinking about things. And even still now, like, there's some things we're like, oh, we should have thought about that, but you never can get everything, and you never can think of all the things that could possibly go wrong. And so we're still kind of, in a way, negotiating when we find and discover things that need to be fixed, like getting sprinklers put in. The fire department requires sprinklers, and so that's something that we have to now think about.
Excellent. So how did you know to how did you know to seek legal advice? And I don't want to simplify it, but Lauren, you described being able to go to a free service to have legal eyes on it. Did you just know, I know a company that can do this, or did you have a mentor or someone that came to you and said, here's an option, or here are options that you should consider?
In some ways, it was like a mentor. A friend of mine, there's this organization that she worked for, and it was Pacific Coast Regional, and they have free resources for entrepreneurs to help them write their business plans. They help them with their monthly projections so they can get funding and SBA loan. They have all these free resources, including a lawyer. And so I would go to their classes and attend their workshops and get mentored by a person that they designated me to one-on-one. And we worked with the lawyer there.
Excellent. How would you, Megan, what kind of encouragement would you give to young entrepreneurs, particularly Black women that are looking to launch a business?
I would say just go with your heart and just try it, because it's scary at times and you don't know what to do. And the only advice I can give is just try it and just pull your resources wherever you can. Do a lot of research, take your time. We've had to push through that a lot, where we felt like we needed to hurry up and do something. And it's always like, I have to get it done. But sometimes it just takes time. And our designer, we go to her space every Monday, and she kind of like pulls us back center. And she's like, sometimes if you just kind of rush things, you realize later on, like, that it slowed down for a reason. There were other things that needed to take place in order for X, Y, and Z to happen. And then towards the end, you're like, it's like a sigh of relief when it's finally done. So I think it takes a lot of, Lauren has this new saying, what is it? Grit.
Grit.
How do you say it again?
Grind, grit.
And get, right? So it's like, it takes a lot of,
say that again.
Grind, grit, get.
I love that.
Yeah. So it just takes a lot of perseverance. You just really have to we just really been trusting God. That's really mostly what it's been, and just waiting on His timing. And I can't stress that enough, because if you if you don't listen to his timing and do things within his will, it's may not turn out. So that's the main thing: following the vision that he gives you, and then listening to him every step of the way.
Being obedient,
Yes,
right?
Definitely.
obedience.
Mm-hmm.
And Lauren, what kind of encouragement and advice would you give young entrepreneurs that are starting out and, again, working full-time? Both of you are working full-time. And, for those women that say, I can't do it because this is going on, or it's not good timing for me, or I don't have the capital. What kind of advice can you offer to those young entrepreneurs?
Definitely, reasons can get in the way of your dreams, and there are dimes and a dozens of reasons to stop you from going at what you want. And I just say, just do it. Like Megan mentioned, it's just, you find and pull in resources like friends and family who have like-minded visions, who are wanting to go for it, and you keep that circle close and tight, and keep yourself surrounded by positive people who are advocating for you, because there are going to be times when people are like, I don't know if this is going to work. And people have told me that, like, oh, I don't think this is going to sustain.
Yeah. And you've experienced that too,
Oh,
right?
yes. You know that I have. And you really have to tune out the naysayers and just really be myopic about your vision, because, my personal belief is, if you haven't been where I've been, I can't really hear your advice because you haven't walked in my shoes. And so, but if you've done it, you've been there and done it, I'm all ears. Help me. But if you're just sitting back, coaching from the sidelines is what I call it. I'm not really open to it.
Yeah, you get a lot of that.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't get discouraged because sometimes the closest people don't support you. So you're going to have to reach out for those people who do advocate for you.
That is wonderful. So again, give us the website, give us your social media handles, and leave us with a final word.
So our website is tickleberryplace.com, and our social media handle is tickleberryfun, so at tickleberryfun. And Lauren, you would like to give us a last parting words?
Let's see. I think you got it.
Yeah, nothing else?
No.
Okay. Well, we'll just say we'll love to see you when we open, and come in and play with us.
I love that. I love that. Well, I want to thank both of you ladies for being here. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Lauren. It's such a pleasure and privilege to have you in studio with me today, and I thank you for coming on A Conversation With. And this has been outstanding. I also want to thank Josefa Salinas for the vision of creating the Power of Voices and this incredible radio station where she gives platform to men and women to bring on incredible people like yourselves to talk about business, to talk about faith and family, to talk about community, politics, a number of different things. And on A Conversation With, I am blessed to have I'm blessed to have the opportunity to speak with businesswomen, and I hope that this conversation has inspired our listeners, because there are many people out there that need some guidance and just a word of encouragement to keep pressing through the fear and moving forward. And you guys are clearly doing that and exemplify excellence. And so it's so wonderful to have you here. And I thank you for your time. I want to encourage everybody to help them meet that $30,000 goal that they have set. It's this Friday with Kickstarter. $30,000. We've got to get there. Get on there. Google Tickleberry Place. Find them. Make a donation. At the very least, donate $50 so that you can get Terry, and you'll take Terry home with you. They'll ship it out to you. And I thank you for listening. And make sure that if my BrunchNet girls, I know you guys are listening, make sure that you support Lauren and Megan in this vision. And we look forward to your launch in the fall. Tickleberry Place is going to be amazing, and it's such a wonderful thing to have that in the community. And I just thank you guys for having the vision to create it and to leave it in the community. So thank you so much for doing that, and thank you for being here. And I thank you for your time. Everyone, thank you for listening. Be blessed. What is it? grind, grit, and get.
Yes.
I love that. Grind, grit, and get. Go get it. Go get it, because no one's going to do it for you, but it is possible. All things are possible, and I do believe that all things are possible with God. So thank you for listening, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.